answers, many today learning a heartbreaking outcome.
I know that all of our team members, our physicians, our providers, our nurses, their heart is broken at what happened last night.
Some families never got answers from the hospital, now learning their loved ones never made it to the emergency room.
So I was there for over 4 hours, found out absolutely nothing other than after 4 hours they said, well, your son is not here, there's no Joseph Walker on the list.
Auburn City Councilor Leroy Walker lost his son Joseph last night. At noon today, Leroy learned his son was one of 8 that was shot and killed at Schmenge's bar.
It just crumbled me all over again and brought me back to just thinking, how bad can life be?
The Walker family just beginning that grieving process now alongside the entire community. The counselor told me he's received hundreds of calls and texts from people in this community sharing that grief with his family. Live in Lewiston, Anna Kuhn, Fox 23 News at 10.
Yeah, our thoughts with his family tonight, Anna. Thank you. And the ongoing search for the suspect and the fact that a lot of families still do not know if their loved ones have lived or died continues to really be an unsettling fact for a lot of folks in Lewiston.
Fox 23's Asia Reed is live outside Just in Time Recreation, that bowling alley where this all began. Asia, you spoke with a man who says he had a family member working there when the gunfire erupted.
Greg and Marissa, just a few hours ago, I spoke with Brian Morin. He says that his aunt, Debbie Morin, works at that bowling alley, and he says he's been trying to get into contact with her, but has not heard back from her just yet.
Yeah, my mom hasn't heard from my aunt yet, but she knows what's going on, and she told me to try to be as safe as I can. She was working at the bowling alley, handing out the shoes to the people that are bowling.
Have you heard from her since?
No, I have not.
Brian says he and his mother have been calling his aunt's cell phone nonstop, hoping someone will pick up. So far, they haven't gotten any answers. Brian tells us he spent the night at this gazebo in Kennedy Park with about 30 other unhoused people, feeling scared and unprotected.
Yeah, I'm afraid for all my friends that are homeless, having active shooters out here that are still loose, could come up to us and shoot us.
This park is just about 2 miles away from where the shootings happened.
It really sucks because I've never seen this happen in 40 years that I've been here. And knowing that this happened, it could happen again.
This afternoon, we caught up with Lewiston residents Marvel Ayat and Abdi, who are still taking it in.
I know, crazy to think that a lot of people have family members that they lost last night.
Because this place is like, it doesn't have that much people. It's like a quiet and peaceful place. I never thought this was gonna happen. It's like.
Lewiston's Mayor Carl Shaleen says this is a difficult time, but is confident the community will make it through.
Lewiston is incredibly strong and we are incredibly resilient, and I know that we will get through this.
God rest the people's souls that were taken last night, and I hope everyone, I just pray for everyone in this time.
There's still a lot of uncertainty tonight, and as it is dark, we haven't seen any folks out on the street, and it's been that way for several hours now. And police do remind folks that there still is a shelter in place in town here. Live in Lewiston, Asia Reed, Fox 23 News at 10. Back to you guys.
Asia, good to hear people are heeding that shelter in place. Thank you. Live there in Lewiston for us. Now, earlier today, authorities did reveal some new details about the devastating events that unfolded last night.
Fox 23's Owen Kingsley continues our team coverage.
According to Maine State Police, last night's horrific shooting happened over the course of just minutes. As police continue searching for their suspect, Mainers are still grappling with this tragedy.
This is a dark day for Maine.
The deadliest mass shooting in the United States this year began at 6:56 Wednesday evening at Just in Time Entertainment. Police say they got a 911 call about a shooting at the bowling alley. Later on, these photos were released of who police believe to be Robert Card holding an AR-15 style rifle.
The victims at the Just in Time establishment, 7 people are deceased there, 1 female and 6 males, all from an apparent gunshot wound.
12 minutes after that 911 call, several more were made about a shooting at Schmenge's Bar and Grill. 8 more people were shot and killed, all of them male. 3 more people died while being taken to the hospital. In a short 45 minutes, Central Maine Medical Center received many of these patients.
We received 14 patients, critically ill patients at that time, over 45 minutes. So that happened very quickly, and our teams responded exceptionally well.
Officials did not specify if the victims were adults or minors.
All Maine people are sharing in the sorrow of the families who lost loved ones last night. Loved ones, normal people who were killed or injured while unwinding from a day of work or while spending time with their family and friends.
Governor Mills says several governors around the country, as well as President Joe Biden, have called to offer their support and condolences.
This city did not deserve this terrible assault on its citizens, on its peace of mind, on its sense of security.
Since these shootings, police searches and activity to find Robert Card have been focused in Lewiston, Lisbon, and elsewhere in the region.
We don't know his location.
So much is still unknown, and police are reiterating that this is still the early stages of this investigation. In Lewiston, I'm Owen Kingsley, Fox 23 News at 10.
And Fox 23's Brad Rogers spent the day in Lewiston as well at the two shooting locations, that bowling alley on the north side of the city and the bar on the south side.
Now, the two mass shootings happening just about 12 minutes apart, according to the 911 calls. The gunman seemingly targeting two crowded establishments.
Well, in tragedies like these, heroes often emerge. One of them is an Auburn City councilor's son, who was a manager at Schmenge's here. He tried to stop the gunman last night and has lost his life, tragically. The other is the owner of the bowling alley across town. When the shooting started, he got people out of that bowling alley to safety. A surveillance camera at Just in Time Recreation captured the gunman, who police identify as 40-year-old Robert Card, as he opened fire on people at the bowling alley. Justin and Samantha Giray bought the bowling alley 2 years ago. We spoke to Justin this morning. He was bowling last night when the gunman opened fire on his staff and customers, and he helped get people out of harm's way through an emergency exit.
I didn't see much. I was bowling, and I turned around. I heard a loud pop. I turned around and saw just an assault rifle, and it was aimed at our counter. Found some emergency exits. The place was busy. I helped get people out of the building.
6 people were shot and killed at the bowling alley, 7 at the bar across. Tell us is the bowling alley was filled with children last night.
We lost some really, really beautiful people. Completely unnecessary, completely uncalled for. Children, place was filled with children. It's not fair. It's not right. And this whole community is affected by it. There were some really great people that were taken from us unjustly.
A lot of families heartbroken here in Lewiston over this senseless tragedy, and what makes matters even worse is that the gunman is still at large while they are sheltering in place. In Lewiston, Brad Rogers, Fox 23 News at 10.
The I-Team's Dan Lamparello has been working to learn more about the suspect here, Robert Card.
He spent the day in Bowdoin, where Card was last known to live, and spoke with some people who know him.
In the area around Meadow Road in Bowdoin is where neighbors say Robert Card and his family have deep ties, saying the suspected mass shooter, still on the run, once lived in this home.
I personally have had tragedies. This one here is far beyond anything I could have imagined.
Chris Crosman says Robert Card once helped him with a number of home projects a few years ago.
He did a barn roof with me, and he worked on my daughter's house with me. Studding up some walls. Seemed to me like a really good guy. I know he was bringing up a child of his own, so other than that, I can't tell you anything about him. I know a lot of his relatives, and they're all good people. I mean, I never would have suspected anything.
But the I-Team has learned there may have been some warning signs, with a law enforcement bulletin revealing Card recently reported mental health struggles and was committed to a mental health facility over the summer for 2 weeks. State police wouldn't comment today on if they thought Card's mental state played a role in Wednesday night's tragedy.
I think those are all valid questions, and certainly questions that we are looking into now, but not questions that we can answer today.
We've also learned Card was a member of the Army Reserves in Saco. The Sergeant First Class enlisted in 2002 and had no combat deployments. Although the Associated Press reports on a recent training in New York, members of his regiment reported him acting erratically.
One of those things, something snapped. I don't know what.
Do you hope that he finds it in him to maybe turn himself in and end this?
I would actually like to see him turn himself in, or if they can take him without killing him, that would be good. I'd like to know what really happened.
Now, that does remain the big question, especially as the search for Robert Card continues here in the Bowdoin area. Again, Robert Card is still on the run and should be considered armed and dangerous. For the I-Team, I'm Dan Lamparello.
Now, also today, Senator Susan Collins, before flying back to Maine, spoke on the Senate floor about the horrific events in Lewiston last night, saying that everybody's hearts are heavy today.
This heinous attack, which has robbed the lives of at least 18 Mainers and injured so many more, is the worst mass shooting that we could ever imagine in our state. This is a dark day for our state.
Now, Senator Angus King also speaking with us today about these shootings.
He says last night he was booking a flight to return to Maine when the president called him.
Stepped out of a state dinner with the ambassador from Australia. What he said was, anything you need. Anything you need. I mean, it was vintage Joe Biden. You could hear the emotion in his voice. And then about an hour ago, I was upstairs with the governor, and we got a call from the Attorney General. And the federal government has sent up a lot of resources, both in terms of technical law enforcement help, but also grief counselors and people to work with our families here in Maine. This is a dark day for us.
Governor Janet Mills also addressing the state today. The governor, who used to live in Lewiston, actually met her husband there, says we all need to help our communities to heal.
So on behalf of the 1.3 million people of the whole state of Maine, I hold these families and this city in my heart today. I know that the people of Lewiston are enduring immeasurable pain. I wish I could take that pain off your hearts, off your shoulders, but I promise you this, we will all help you carry that grief.
And President Biden and the governor ordering U.S. flags and Maine flags to be lowered to half-staff for the next 5 days in memory of the victims and in honor of those injured. And also, we do continue to hear an outpouring of support coming from Capitol Hill.
Senator Mitch McConnell is saying he is heartbroken for our community.
I was devastated to hear the news last night of a deadly shooting in Lewiston, Maine. I know the entire Senate stands behind our colleagues, Senator Collins and Senator King, as they help their state marshal its response. We pray especially for the victims of this senseless violence, for their families, and for the law enforcement personnel working tirelessly to save lives and bring the suspect to justice.
We caught up with a woman who says she knows the suspect in this mass shooting, Robert Card. Dara Hamlin, who lives in Windham right now but grew up in Bowdoin, Card's hometown, tells us as far as she knows, Card was a nice guy, but that things recently took a turn for him.
As far as I knew, he was a kind, outgoing, great guy, and, you know, things took a turn for the worse in the last 6 months, it sounds like, by what his family has to say, and it sounds like he really just hit his breaking point, you know. It's unfortunate.
And we're going to take a short break here from our coverage here.
We do want to let you know, in light of this mass shooting, the drug take-back day we did have planned for tomorrow with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office has been canceled.
Again, it's canceled for now. We'll be right back. Maine native and actor Patrick Dempsey reacting to the mass shooting in Lewiston. He posted on his Instagram, he said, quote, "I am shocked and deeply saddened by last night's tragedy in my hometown, Lewiston, Maine. Maine's great strength is its sense of community, and now we are being asked to come together to support everyone that's been devastated by this senseless act. My family and I are heartbroken for the victims, their families, and the community."
The shootings are bringing out reaction from all corners of our community, including the Maine Celtics, who sent out this statement late this afternoon. The state of Maine is a small town. The city and people of Lewiston are our fans, friends, and family. In light of this horrific tragedy, our offices and business operations will remain closed for the day. We urge everyone to follow the latest orders from authorities, stay safe, and check on one another. We will continue to grieve this senseless loss.
Sacramento Kings NBA basketball team starting their season off with a win last night, but basketball not the thing on the coach's mind. Mike Brown today sharing his thoughts on the horrific events in Lewiston last night.
We as a country got to do something. It's a sad day. It's a sad day for our country. It's a sad day in this world. And until we decide to do something about it, the powers that be, this is going to keep happening. And our kids aren't going to be able to enjoy what the United States is about because we don't know how to fix a problem that's right in front of us. Sad. I feel for the families.
Now we're already getting alerts about some closures for Friday. Lewiston Public Schools, they're going to be closed tomorrow. That shelter-in-place order still remains in effect until further notice. City Auburn saying that their school canceled as well across the river there. We'll update these closures, the full list, businesses too, as we get them to our website. That's fox23maine.com. Okay, let's take a quick break from our coverage of obviously these terrific events and the aftermath and the ongoing search. Let's get a look at our forecast now.
Chief Meteorologist Charlie Lopresti will join us in 15 seconds.
If you get hurt in an accident, the insurance company doesn't care. They just want you to take what they offer, and they'll hassle you until you do. Stop the hassle. Call Hardy Wolf and Downing at 1-800-INJURED. We are Maine's injury lawyers.
All right, more warm temperatures are in the forecast. Good evening, everyone. The sunset this evening was around 5:40. We captured some clouds, some sun. The big story obviously has been the mild temperatures. Today we made it into the low 70s. Tomorrow we'll make into the low 70s. We'll do it again on Saturday. So 2 more very warm days are on tap. And then the next time we'll touch 70 degrees will probably be in the springtime. It gets quite a bit cooler after that. Okay, so we're tracking a few showers. All that activity right now has been confined to the hills and mountains. You go to northern parts of New Hampshire, into western parts of Maine, we're seeing a few showers kind of work into that region right there. Those will drift on through overnight. Most areas will stay dry. There's a front to our west. You can clearly make out what that is. It's just the boundary between the warm air mass we have in place right here and cooler air that will be settling in for the second half of the weekend. You may get a brief shower on Saturday as this front moves through, but that's not going to be a big deal. We have 2 storm systems that will be affecting us or may be affecting us. The first of which will bring a chilly rainfall on Sunday afternoon or evening. I think some of that rain gets in here probably late in the day on Sunday. That's about 8 p.m. and that rain will probably be with us on Monday as well. That's storm number 1. Storm number 2, the track is a little bit more in question. And the reason I want to keep an eye on this one, cold air will be firmly in place with the second one. This will be on Wednesday of next week, so that's 8 a.m. Wednesday. You take a storm and track it even 50 miles to the west. It will be a rain and snow event for us. So you track it 50 miles out into the ocean, and we'll just get a few clouds associated with it. So it bears watching. The bottom line here is we have 2 more warm days. It gets cooler, and then we're tracking more of a typical November active weather pattern here. We'll start you off tomorrow morning. Let's get in a little bit closer on the storm tracker, and this will highlight our situation pretty nicely. We should be in the 50s early on. Tonight's a mild night. You can leave the windows open. It feels like late August, early September, doesn't it? Afternoon temperatures tomorrow should easily make a run at the low 70s for a lot of towns. There'll be a few clouds that mix in, but I think tomorrow will be dominated by sun. It'll be a partly to mostly sunny sky. More clouds are expected the farther north you are, and there may be a brief shower up into Franklin County and Somerset County as well. Those move out Saturday. Again, one more nice day on Saturday with a lot of sunshine. We should have